Hi there. So today we're talking about adversity, how to get through challenges, how to grow through adversity, how to get unstuck in life and just kind of grow through some of the hardships in life. I heard a quote one time that said, adversity introduces a man to himself. And I love that quote, adversity introduces a man to himself. The last 2 or 3 weeks of my life have taught me how true that statement is. And I have 5 things I've discovered in the last 2 or 3 weeks of my life that I feel like everyone can and should do to help kind of get themselves out of ruts, to help them grow beyond their situations. They're simple, 5 simple ways to grow through adversity. Number 1 is accept the reality of life. Learn to start accepting the reality of life, which is life is difficult, and life comes with adversity and challenges and difficulties for us all. You are not unique and you are not different. Irrespective of what challenge you may be going through, I feel like we can probably all say it's a challenge that somebody somewhere has already been through. So understanding, just kind of taking a step back and getting perspective is number 1. It's life. It's just all part of life. Life happens to us all, and sometimes life brings us to our knees. Sometimes life makes us cry. Sometimes life is difficult, but it's difficult for us all. Here's number 2. Don't get stuck in the moment. Most people's lives get stuck in a single moment that they cannot get over. They refuse to actually get over. Most people are so stuck on what caused them to fall down that they refuse to move on into getting back up. So I'm going to tell you a story. So there's a guy that I used to know. His name, we'll call him Jason. Jason was fired from his job for doing something, was wrongly accused of doing something at his work, and he was fired. And he was so blindsided by this injustice that he literally just got fixated on it. For 18 solid months, Jason wouldn't even go and look for a job. He was just fixated on what had happened to him. He'd go around telling anybody and everybody that listened to his story too. Literally, you'd call him and say, hey, how's it going? And he'd tell you the story over again, even if you'd already heard it. He just was so stuck in that. And he's a perfect example of how most people they get stuck in the moments of their lives and these injustices and these challenges, and they refuse to move on. And the crazy thing is, even 6 months later, Jason's job called him and apologized and was like, hey, you know what, we discovered the truth behind all of this and we're sorry, offered him his job back, and he still didn't take it. He just kept saying, he would say all of the time, it's not fair, it's not fair, it's not fair. Listen, life isn't fair. I don't know why, I don't have the answer to that, and neither do you. Life isn't fair. There's a huge part of life that just isn't fair. It's not fair for any of us. You got to move on from that. And I understand that deep-seated need to feel vindicated, that need to just want to talk to anybody and everybody that'll listen. Trust me when I tell you, I know from my own experience that passion that all of a sudden just kind of like builds inside of you, and you just got to tell your story. You just want someone to hear your truth. But the truth is that the more you're talking about the fall down, the more you're not getting back up. And the more you're causing a temporary setback to be permanent. Because the truth is that it's not about what happens to us. It's about how we respond to it. And it's not about the fact that, Jason got fired, wrongly accused of something and fired from his job. The story that Jason is going to eventually remember is that for 18 solid months, he parked on the side of life and refused to move on because of this injustice. Life happens to us all. Don't get stuck on the setback. Number 3 is you need a strategy. You need to declare that you are going to move on from this and get focused on your own comeback story. Focus on your comeback story. Say it out loud. You know what I did for 3 solid weeks? I'm unstoppable. I'm working on my comeback story because I am unstoppable. This is not going to bring me down. I've been through so much worse than this in my life, and I got through that, so I'm going to get through this too. So I'm going to get through this with a little bit more grace. I heard someone say, unless you meet it with grace, it'll always stay in your face. I love that. So I'm going to choose to meet this with a little bit more grace in my life and move on. Say it out loud. This is my comeback story. This is my time. I am moving on. Declare that in your life. It is time to move on, and you're working on the comeback. Number 4 is we have to understand that everything happens for a reason. And sometimes when we have these life collisions that cause us to truly just get off the track we were on and change paths, sometimes we can look back and go, you know what, I know in hindsight that God was trying to drop little hints, and where God was trying to tell me that this isn't your path, this isn't right for you, but you were ignoring that. And sometimes when you ignore the hints from the universe or from God that this is not the track, the path, the road that you're supposed to be on, sometimes, boom, a collision forcefully knocks you off that path. And you know what? It's a great thing. Don't get stuck on the collision. Get stuck on the fact that you are so important. You have something so important to bring to this earth. This is the truth. You are so special and so wildly important to this universe that you were forced off the track that you were on because it was wrong. And the world as it is needs you to be on the right path. So yeah, that collision happened and it knocked you off your path and onto the new path. Let it be okay. There are no accidents in the universe. So number 4 is just understanding. There are no accidents in the universe, and this happened to you for a reason. So you could reinvent and recreate yourself. Let it go. Let it be and recreate. And lastly, let it go so you can grow. Let it go so you can grow. I love that. And surround yourself with people that are going to tell you what you need to hear, not what you want to hear. Here's the truth. Most people are only surrounded by people that are going to placate them and tell them exactly what they feel like they want to hear in those broken moments in life. Those are not the kind of people you want to be around. For 18 solid months, Jason wasn't up off the couch even looking for a job, because for 18 solid months, everybody in Jason's life was willing to let him just stay in this place and listen to a story over and over and over again, instead of just saying to him, let it go, brother, so you can go on with your life. I know what it feels like to want to tell your story. And I know what it feels like to have things happen to you that are unfair. I know what that feels like. Trust me. And it is all, it will take all of your power to move on. Believe me, I'm not speaking out of something I read. I'm not speaking out of some quote I saw. This isn't just some regurgitated, adopted opinion of someone. This is life, people. This is my life, and I learned these things all the hard way. I know how difficult it is to make the decision in your own heart. You know what? I'm just going to move on from this. I'm going to choose not to get even. I'm going to choose to get ahead. I'm going to choose to let it go. I'm going to choose to surround myself with people that are going to lift me up and not keep me down by allowing me to tell this story over and over and over again. I'm going to choose to be a part of my own comeback story, and I'm going to choose to reinvent myself and to recreate myself and to proclaim to the universe, here I come. They haven't seen anything like me yet. Most people react to a temporary situation as if it were permanent. And that's most people's problem with setbacks in life. Jason's sitting here acting like for the rest of his life, every job is going to wrongly accuse him of something, and he's going to get fired over it. It's not gonna, it may probably will never happen again. It's about the growth. It's about taking that lesson and learning from it and moving on. Life is a challenge for us all. Life is difficult. There's parts of life that are unfair. But everything happens for a reason, and it's happening to you for a reason. So take it for what it is. You are so special that you need to grow more so the world can see what you have to bring, because at the end of the day, like I always say, there's truly only one you in this world. There's only one you in this world. So get back up and bring what you have to bring to the table.